Introduction to Operating System, OS. By T. Subbia. 22376021. What is an operating system? Computer system equals hardware plus software. Software equals application software plus system software, OS. An operating system is a system software that acts as an intermediary/interface between a user of a computer and the computer hardware. Operating system goals. Execute user programs and make solving user problems easier. Make the computer system convenient to use. Use the computer hardware in an efficient manner. Types of operating systems. 1. Batch operating system. 2. Multi-programming operating system. 3. Time-sharing OS. 4. Multiprocessing OS. 5. Distributed OS. 6. Network OS. 7. Real-time OS. 8. Embedded OS. The structure of computer systems. Accessing computer resources is divided into layers. Each layer is isolated and only interacts directly with the layer below or above it. If we install a new hardware device, no need to change anything about the user/applications. However, you do need to make changes to the operating system. You need to install the device drivers that the operating system will use to control the new device. If we install a new software application, no need to make any changes to your hardware. But we need to make sure the application is supported by the operating system. User will need to learn how to use the new application. If we change the operating system, need to make sure that both applications and hardware will compatible with the new operating system. Computer architecture. Special buses, roads, connecting all input-output devices to motherboard. CPU, Central Processing Unit. This is the brain of your computer. It performs all of the calculations. In order to do its job, the CPU needs commands to perform and data to work with. The instructions and data travel to and from the CPU on the system bus. The operating system provides rules for how that information gets back and forth, and how it will be used by the CPU. RAM, Random Access Memory. This is like a desk or a workspace where your computer temporarily stores all of the information, data, and instructions, software or program code, that it is currently using. Each RAM chip contains millions of address spaces. Each address space is the same size and has its own unique identifying number, address. The operating system provides the rules for using these memory spaces and controls storage and retrieval of information from RAM. Device drivers for RAM chips are included with the operating system. Problem: if RAM needs an operating system to work, and an operating system needs RAM in order to work, how does your computer activate its RAM to load the operating system? Operating system mode. The user mode is concerned with the actual interface between the user and the system. It controls things like running applications and accessing files. The kernel mode is concerned with everything running in the background. It controls things like accessing system resources, controlling hardware functions and processing program instructions. System calls are used to change mode from user to kernel. Kernel. Kernel is a software code that resides in central core of OS. It has complete control over system. When operation system boots, kernel is first part of OS to load in main memory. Kernel remains in main memory for entire duration of computer session. The kernel code is usually loaded into protected area of memory. Kernel performs its task like executing processes and handling interrupts in kernel space. User performs its task in user area of memory. Memory. This memory separation is made in order to prevent user data and kernel data from interfering with each other. Kernel does not interact directly with user, but it interacts using shell and other programs and hardware. Kernel cont. Kernel includes 1. Scheduler, it allocates the kernel's processing time to various processes. 2. Supervisor, it grants permission to use computer system resources to each process. 3. Interrupt handler, it handles all requests from the various hardware devices which compete for kernel services. 4. Memory manager, allocates space in memory for all users of kernel service. Kernel provides services for process management, file management, I/O management, memory management. System calls are used to provide these type of services. System call. System call is the programmatic way in which a computer program/user application requests a service from the kernel of the operating system on which it is executed. Application program is just a user process. Due to security reasons, user applications are not given access to privileged resources, the ones controlled by OS. When they need to do any I/O or have some more memory or spawn a process or wait for signal/interrupt, it requests operating system to facilitate all these. This request is made through system call. System calls are also called software interrupts. Starting an operating system, booting. Power on switch sends electricity to the motherboard on a wire called the voltage good line. If the power supply is good, then the BIOS, basic input-output system, chip takes over.